From Liberia, pleasant good evening and welcome to News Today on KMTV. Many thanks for joining us tonight. My name is Emmanuel Davis. Let's now bring you stories topping this presentation. Police Inspector General attributes increase in violence to low budgetary support for security sector and the constant abuse of drugs by young people. Legal representatives of CDC Kennedy Abu Kamara say they will contest the National Elections Commission Board of Commissioners ruling at the Supreme Court of Liberia. House of Representatives plenary summons Finance and Development Planning Minister to provide justification for executing government's salary harmonization without legislative approval. These plus many developments are packaged in tonight's edition of our news. We'll take this break to be right back. Welcome back and thanks for rejoining us tonight on our news platform. We bring you our first development. The plenary of the Senate has mandated the committees on national defense and judiciary to investigate the Joint Security Task Force relative to the increase in lawlessness in the country. The decision was reached following the appearance of heads of the Joint Security Task Force members at the Liberian Senate to state reasons why violence is on the increase in Liberia. Well, the proponent of the communication that invited the security heads at the Senate today is Grand Bassa County Senator Yobli Kanga Lawrence.
Last week, 3 senators wrote a letter of concern to plenary for the following reasons. A few months ago in District 13, by-elections, Kennedy Cornelia Craft from the Unity Party, on the day that she launched her campaign, I was present representing the collaborating parties as the political leader from the Unity Party. Senator Darius Dillon was present, and we were there to work along with Cornelia Craft. Upon our arrival, we were attacked by City Mayor Jefferson Kuchi. There were cutlasses. People were wounded. Immediately I made contacts. And I also wrote a letter on the Senate floor and the Committee on Defense was instructed to carry on our investigation. Also, up to today's date, there has been no report from the police or any entity or the joint security that we are aware of. After the elections of Senator Darius Dillon, when the results were being announced, between the Liberty Party headquarters and the CDC headquarters, there was a riot that was pointed by the seditionists, where the Deputy Director of Police was beaten, and up to today, we still don't know the status of that situation. A few days ago, there was another incident in District 15 where Kennedy Tilia Uri was on siege. It has been a very serious concern. And also yesterday, we saw mothers, women who went out to protest against violence against women. But we continue to wait for reports from our security or joint security team, and it's very, very frustrating. There's fear all over the country. People don't feel protected anymore, as people are stoning one another. I've also been advised as senator and a member of the collaborating party or leader of the collaborating party not to go to District 15 because I've been threatened as well.
While speaking at the plenary of the Liberian Senate on Thursday, Police Inspector General Colonel Patrick Sudu attributed the increase in violence to limited budgetary support for the joint security. He also said violence is high in Liberia because most young people are abusing drugs and drinking alcohol excessively.
Budgetary allotment for the joint security is inadequate to the point at which it serves as a major hindrance to the effectiveness of law enforcement in Liberia. It is our hope that this August ballot will see the need to increase budgetary allotment for the joint security if we want to see a more robust, effective, and proactive joint security. Honorable presiding members of the Senate, the maintenance of security is very expensive. There is a need to look at the budget of the joint security. The joint security is striving. If this house do not look at, in fact, I will not want to dwell upon what is in the budget for us and what was there, then that can be discussed in executive. But if you should hear what is in the budget for the joint security, I think it will move you to act now. If we don't act now, our police, our members of the joint security will not be effective in curtailing this violence around the nation. The police, the immigration, the military, we need to be supported by you all seated here today, honorable people. We depend the survivability of this nation and the effectiveness of the joint security is wholly and solely depend on this other body seated here today, because the security is one of the entities that is being looked down upon in this particular house. There has never become a time that budget passed through here for anybody to stand up to talk for the security.
Police Inspector General Colonel Patrick Sudu, meanwhile, he explained that the LNP has extended invitation to parties concerned to assist with an ongoing investigation launched by the LNP.
We launched this investigation and we wrote two of the persons that were linked to the allegation of the assault on 102. So we wrote, you can see these are the letters we wrote for these honorable individuals to come forward for us to help us with our investigation. We wrote Honorable Akara Gray and we wrote Honorable Moka Modu to come forward to assist us with the investigation. Members of the investigative team met with Honorable Moka Modu. He consented that he will come at the headquarters to give his side of the story, and we have tried to get in touch with Honorable Akara's Gray, but it proved filtered. But I'm sure we'll get to him because I met him yesterday and he said if the need arises, he will come to the police station. He assured me that he will come over. Immediately after the incident subsided, Monday morning, as date of communication to two of the expiring, I wrote them to come forward at the headquarters of the Liberia National Police so as to assist us in investigating these matters and also to assist them in providing security for the both parties. We waited for them up to yesterday. Only one of the parties showed up. The candidate from the four collaborating parties did not show up. This violence that are occurring in our community. The police is doing everything within its power to ensure that these violence are being curtailed. Honorable Presiding Member of the Senate, the wave of violence have become so rampant in our communities. Therefore, there is a need for us all to speak against this creepy menace in our society.
Well, here is the decision that was taken today in the plenary of the Liberian Senate after a motion was raised by Bon County Senator Henry Yala.
While it's true that plenary invited them to this open plenary, but the way the Senate works to reach to the root of issues has to do with specialized committee that will receive the different evidences required, investigate in-depthly, and report to the plenary. While on my feet, I move and I obtain a second that all of the pieces of evidence presented by the Inspector General and the Minister of Justice, in conjunction with what we have as some senators as exhibits, should be presented to the Committee on Defense and Judiciary, that these teams appear before them and they do thorough investigation. The both committees report to the plenary for plenary action.
With the motion made by Soyala, are you not ready to vote? Against? Sign your arm. Yes, sir. Discharge your witness.
You run ridiculous. You are a disgrace. You're a disgrace of the Senate. You're a complete disgrace. You're a mockery of the Senate. What can I present? You're going to sit here and make a mockery of the Senate? That's ridiculous. No, just a disgrace.
Well, we sincerely apologize for that amateur footage on your television screens tonight, but due to the importance of the development, we had to bring you that video. And you did see Senator Oscar Cooper and, of course, Sano Johnson stating that their fellow lawmaker is a disgrace to the Liberian Senate. Let's now go to this development where the government of Liberia is expected to receive a proposal seeking civic education as an additional course to be taught in various schools across Liberia. Making the disclosure at an intellectual center in Central Monrovia, the president of Liberia Criminal Justice Association, Jabo Rare, said civic education has been doomed and it is about time Liberians be knowledgeable of laws governing them. He's been speaking more about this.
One of the issues in our proposal is the Constitution must be taught in every learning institution in the Republic of Liberia. Come what may, that law, the government of Liberia will listen to us because we are citizens of this country. In order for Liberia to get better, it is the citizen that must make the country better, nobody. So, that now, when that petition is completed, it will be submitted to the registered authority. Take for instance the Ministry of Education. And one of the parties will say, another thing will be the Supreme Court. In most instances, we may ask them to interpret that particular clause in the Constitution that says a civic education must be taught in every learning institution. Because when that clause is interpreted, we will know our position. Our position is criminal justice. We practitioners, we want to render that service to the country. That service we are willing to give it to the country. So now, like I said, we are developing a proposal. That proposal will be submitted to the registered authority very soon.
Legal representative of candidate Abu Kamara of the Coalition for Democratic Change say They will contest the National Elections Commission Board of Commissioners ruling at the Supreme Court of Liberia. The pronouncement comes after 5 members of the Board of Commissioners of NEC upheld a ruling by the hearing officer into election dispute in District Number 15, Mansurado County. According to a release issued by the Public Affairs Department of the National Elections Commission today, majority members of the Board of Commissioners affirmed the ruling for a rerun at 20 disputed quarantined precincts in District Number 15. The release further stated the chairman of the board, Councillor Jerome Kokoya, opposed the decision of his colleagues, thereby refusing to sign the document. His co-chair, Councillor Sarah To, was the only absentee. Well, viewers, if you just joined us tonight, this is a reminder that you're watching News Today on KMTV. Before we go for our break, we still have this development plus many more. House of Representatives plenary summons Finance and Development Planning Minister to provide justification for executing government salary harmonization without legislative approval. We take this break to be right back. The plenary of the House of Representatives has summoned Finance and Development Planning Minister to provide justification into allegation of the execution of government salary harmonization scheme. Plenary is the highest decision-making body at the House of Representatives. The decision was taken after 3 separate communications were proffered by several lawmakers requesting the plenary to place a halt on the salary harmonization process. The lawmakers believe the process allegedly being carried out by the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning is outside of legislative approval, stating that the action is contemptuous. Let's now bring you lawmakers debating the issue today on Capitol Hill.
It's part of partisanship and non-partisanship. And I'm speaking to this issue as chairman of Ways and Means, a parcel of this government, meaning the ruling party. And Mr. Presiding, acting is completely out of order. The rules are clear, the laws are clear, the Constitution is clear. You cannot approbate authority that you do not have. The finance minister does not have that authority to play with emoluments that has to do with the benefits of our people without the consent, in compliance with the PFM law, the Constitution as well. Acting the finance ministry, if it is true, because it is still being alleged. But I know our colleagues have done a lot of research. Our colleagues have done the research. We are in the process of harmonization. Conversations are ongoing. For the Ministry of Finance to begin to pay for the month, if they are paying the month of July, it's not being done on the basis of the 112 that is on the previous budget, but on the current budget that has not been passed. It's contentious. It's something that has to do with contempt of the legislature.
We call in the executive report immediately, or else we're going to sue them as a caucus, especially the trade they are taking, because it's causing serious problem to us in our various districts. And I mean it, I'm not taking no order on this issue. Our constituents are going to give us proper on this issue. They say order don't matter.
From the entrance of the Ministry of Health, you will sense the hardship that is placed upon our people by this issue of salary harmonization. Mr. President, this is a complete contravention of our Constitution. When public servants are appointed by the chief executive, that appointment is done so that whatever action they take or whatever decision they take is taken in the supreme interest of the Liberian people. And that is the very reason why we were elected. A few days ago we were here. Colleagues, we have spent over 2 weeks discussing the proposal. And if you can agree with me that even for us to start discussing the proposal, we have to request it. The records are here. The civil service agency has come here and told some of us here that even employment that was not done in line with the civil servant authority, and gentlemen want to pay politics. Mr. President, I don't think that 4 or 5 of our police across this floor, payments are made by direct deposit in some instances. So they have evidence in their possession. Our police have the evidence here in their possession.
I remember the Minister of Finance was invited here, and he told us in this room that health workers, police people were not touched. There are rumors that they're being touched. As leaders, let's consider all of those thoughts around as rumors.
I move, if I can be seconded, that this plenary mandates the finance minister to continue to pay based on the last salary from the previous budget. And continue the engagement with the legislature in line with the conclusion that if there will be any adjustment, it should come from the legislature, given that we have the power to do that.
Well, the motion was later on amended to invite the Minister of Finance and Development Planning before that body. Meanwhile, JFK Hospital, that's the John F. Kennedy Medical Center General Administrator Dr. Jerry Brown says he finds it difficult to understand the logic behind the government of Liberia's salary harmonization scheme, noting that health workers are affected by the process.
It's not true that all of the clinicians at JFK salary were not touched. Okay? Were not touched. That's not true. Okay? A good number of the doctors and a few nurses were harmonized. Downward. Okay? From what they had before. If you look at that, they harmonized. The issue of a nurse making 1,005 and another nurse is making 500, a nurse manager is different from a nurse who comes for 8 hours and go home. A nurse manager has under her jurisdiction 50 plus nurses that she must monitor, and she spends extra time, perhaps taking calls in the night to ensure that the nurses are executing their duty appropriately. I can't pay that person equal to the person who comes 8 hours and leave. The same too with the doctors. A doctor who is a pathologist and also serving as head for the pathology department and supervising other doctors, I can't pay him equal to someone who just graduated recently and expect them to have the same salary. So if there's a variance and you decide to bring that man down to the level of the others, personally, I have a problem. Okay.
A cross-section of aggrieved Liberian women on yesterday gathered at President George Weah's Foreign Affairs Ministry office to protest against domestic violence and all forms of violence against women. The women named increase in rape, continuous marginalization of women at various workplaces as some of the cases that need to be considered a national emergency. Speaking to reporters on Wednesday, the protesting women seeking redress said violence against women is a violation of the domestic violence bill passed by the legislature. Let's now bring you two of those women speaking to KMTV exclusively.
You have estimated number of 8 women being raped every day in Liberia. Liberia. If we're talking about Ebola, if we're saying in Liberia that if human beings were dying from Ebola every day, this would be a national emergency. It would be on shutdown in this country. Eight every day, raped, gang rape, babies and all. So it's a national emergency, it's a national crisis. And so we are here to raise awareness. We want the government to respond to us. District 13, November 2018, and District 15, August 2019 representative elections, and the online ruling during the recent 2019 Monserrado senatorial elections were not only unpatriotic, but demonstrated a lack of respect to women who sought to positively contribute to the nation through their participation in the electoral process. Furthermore, these actions are in contravention of the domestic violence bill, which we recently signed into law less than 2 weeks ago. The system marginalization of women in government, politics, civil society, and the workforce through statements made by those in positions of power have the potential to incite chaos and violence. Number 3, in the 6-month period of December 2018 to July 2019, there were 2,021 reported cases of sexual and gender-based violence in Monserrado. Based on this trend, by December 2019, this number can be expected to far exceed the 2,200 cases reported during the 12-month period of December 2017 to December 2018. This number does not even consider the cases in the other 14 counties. This is unacceptable.
In response, President George Weah says his government remains committed to the protection of the rights of every Liberian citizen.
I received a message that it's important that all citizens, not just women, as a female in chief, all citizens should be protected under the law. Election violence, we all condemn election violence, and we want to make sure that District 15 be a special government assigned place where we will protect the area so we can have free and fair elections, and the rights of women in this country will be given attention to. But a lot of things we read here, we have laws, and I think in our government we have so many women, and you can see and you know. So the women issue is our issue. I just signed the domestic violence bill to tell you that we support the women's rights, and we all have to reinforce. So I need your ideas what to do, so we all can work together to see how women can be protected. The law will be enforced to make sure that women's rights are fostered and we protect our women.
The Economic Freedom Fighters of Liberia, EFFL, has expressed fear that Liberia's democracy is under threat or attack. The statement by the pro-political and advocacy group through its Commander-in-Chief Emmanuel Gonkwe is in reference to political tension in Monserrado County, specifically District number 15, which has led to injuries and the damage of several properties. According to EFFL Commander-in-Chief, the unfortunate situation, if not checkmated, will continue and will destroy more properties and lives in Liberia.
I will say for the record, our democracy is under attack. This is not about CDC. This is not about ANC. This is not about Unity Party. This is not about Liberty Party. This is not about the EFFL or SEAL. But I can say to you, fellow citizens, our democracy is under attack. The CDC that complained a few years ago, in 2011, we complained when we were in the CDC that we were shot there, that members of the CDC were shot there, that Unity Party took their body to the beach and buried in the sand. It is the same CDC that promised not to orchestrate violence in the country. Is the CDC now that is perpetuating violence. But let me say this. It is only Charles Taylor alone that is seated at the Hague. If the presidents believe that allowing a semi-illiterate Jefferson Koji going to District 15 and going to other party headquarters, getting against us to create violence in the society is a way of maintaining power. Let me say to George Weah that Lauren Gbagbo and all against us did not go to the World Crime Court. It was Lauren Gbagbo that was disgraced at the World Crime Court. If George Weah knows, let me say there's a life after the presidency. If he allowed, we did not vote Jefferson Koji as a president. We never voted Mohamed Malou. The Liberian people voted George Weah. What President Weah is doing currently, allowing surrogates to rent in stores as people, allowing surrogates to vandalize communities and destroy people's property. If that amounts to electoral violence, let the president be told, and you supporter of George Weah, we need to let you know that sooner or later, the international organizations that are here, they are documenting everything that is happening in the country. Don't be so.
Nimba County Senator Prince Ward Johnson has alarmed over threats from top officials of government, including Dr. Buffer Chambers and Jefferson Koji, of the establishment of War Crimes Court in Liberia. Speaking in plenary, Senator Johnson alleged he received a text from House Speaker Buffer Chambers urging him not to pull out of the coalition because, according to him, the War Crimes Court is not being signed because of the senator. Monrovia City Mayor, for his part, Jefferson Koji, at a recent news conference, told journalists he supports the establishment of War and Economic Crimes Court because Liberia is not a country of impunity. Mr. Johnson said the threat comes every time he speaks truth to power. To substantiate his allegation, excuse me, the Nimba County lawmaker displayed text messages sent to him by Speaker Chambers. That's according to the FPA newspaper. It can be recalled Senator Johnson, after the defeat of the CDC in the just-ended Monserrado senatorial by-election, criticized and blamed the government for such defeat. In his sermon, the clergyman noted he will consult his spiritual godfather whether to continue or withdraw his support from the CDC, a statement that apparently prompted the text message of the speaker. Well, viewers, with that development coming from the Nimba County lawmaker, this is how we like to go home on this edition of News Today on KMTV. But before leaving you, a recap of the headlines. Police Inspector General Colonel Patrick Sudway attributes increase in violence to low budgetary support for security sector and the constant abuse of drugs by young people, and also the intake of alcohol. Legal representatives of CDC candidate Abu Kamara say they will contest the National Elections Commission Board of Commissioners ruling at the Supreme Court of Liberia. House of Representatives plenary summons Finance and Development Planning Minister to provide justification for executing government's salary harmonization scheme without legislative approval. Well, many thanks for joining our news platform tonight. Better still, you can join us tomorrow for more news on KMTV. You can log us onto www.kmtvliberia.com and other social media networks available to you. Do have a great day from all of us here at KMTV. Good evening.